Yes, it does fit.
Are we ready? Cheers.
Okay.
Alright, how's it going? We're on? Alright, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to be signing books. If you have questions, type them in the comments. That's how it works, right? And then I'll answer whatever. And I'll just be signing. I got my coffee. Hopefully you can see this. Can you see this part?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I guess we're simulating the convention experience, but from the comfort of my studio. Alright, so thanks everybody that ordered a book, thank you. I'll be signing them now. You still want to order one? We have some left. But yeah, we just got a new printing of volume 1. It was out of print for a little bit, so we just got a new printing of them in.
Someone asked how cold is it there?
It's so cold. Oh my gosh. We I don't know what's the temperature today. Is it like
It's 25 right now.
25 right now, but I think it's like 10 degrees in the studio. It's somehow colder inside. No, our studio is pretty open, like it used to be a garage, like Route 66 garage. So the front is sort of like an office area or storefront, and then the back is an open garage. So it's hard to keep it warm. But we have this little conference room in the back, and a little space heater. So it's tolerable in the winter time. Okay, there we go. And I'm signing. I'm using this. This is the sort of the brush I use for inking comics. I use it for signing too sometimes. But you can refill it with ink, and then it's just like a whatever Japanese brush pen that you can refill. And then these are little. They're colored pencils, but they're made out of something. I'm not sure what they are. They're not real waxy. But they're not like pencils either. There's somewhere in between, which I like, just for adding like an extra color. And I'll hold this up when I'm done so you can kind of see it. So there we go. One down, a bunch to go. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, let me know. I can tell you today, what did I work on? I'm working on a couple new books with, I'm doing a new book with Wilfredo Torres. We work on Bang together, we're working on something new. And then also just figured out a story with Tyler Jenkins. So Apache Delivery Service just came out, but we're done with that, so we're trying to start on the next thing. And we figured that out today.
Will all copies bought off the website be sketched? Or
Yes.
just the ones sold today?
Yeah, all copies will be sketched. I'm just going to sign as sketch as many as I can do now. Because it's definitely more fun having company doing this than just sitting alone signing books. Not quite as much fun. So I'm going to do as many as I can now just because it's more fun doing it this way. Yeah, if you didn't order yet, you can still order and you'll get the same thing. Yeah, and I have fun signing books. I miss doing it in real life. It's a little more fun. That shows. There we go, there's another one. There's a maroon
said, currently reading through the second omnibus. Can't believe I'm only getting around to reading it now. So good, really enjoying it.
No, thank you. No, it's good. But what happened was we did the mind management board game this year. And what I didn't anticipate was there would be a lot of board game fans coming to the game, not even knowing that there was a book or that it was based on the book. So I think that's what happens. We sold a bunch of books and then sold out, not realizing there's going to be more demand because of the board game and a bunch of people that hadn't read the book yet. So that was cool and that was fun. It's great that hopefully we're getting some mind management readers into board games and then board game people into comics.
Dan asks, what's next in store for you with Bad Idea?
Bad idea. I have I'm doing some more hero trade stories. So if you like the hero trade, which is my personal favorite thing I've done for Bad Idea, there's more of those coming. I love working with Dave Lapham. He's such a great collaborator and such a great. I've been a huge fan of his forever. So getting to work with him is amazing. So I'm doing more of that. I'm doing another. There's a character that showed up in one of the B-sides. He was like a sort of a time travel character. Saver is his name, I think. And I'm doing something interesting with him. It hasn't been announced. They haven't talked about it yet, but I've written something new there. That's one of my favorite things I've done as well for Bad Idea. Yeah, so a bunch of new stuff. I'm trying to think of what's coming out that I've done that's come out. There's a couple things I really can't say, but there's a bunch of stuff still done, halfway done. We're just waiting to be put out. I did something with a barbarian. I can tease that, I guess. Or multiple barbarians, more than one. Oh, I didn't show I'll show the sketches as I do them. I'm trying to do. My rule's always been to try to do a different sketch in every book. So, different character, if it's the same character, draw him in a different way. So, it sort of keeps it interesting.
Dan asks, do you have any conventions planned in Texas this year?
Texas. I want to go to Austin. So, I don't know, is there an answer if there's a convention? You know, there has to be, right? I just want to see. I've heard so many good things about the city, so I want to visit. We have a friend that lives there, so that I think that would be fun. But if there's a show in or near Austin, I'd be up for it. Nothing planned, but it's kind of hard to plan this year. I booked Kansas City Planet Comic Con and then Heroes this summer, but it's always like a wait and see, see how it goes.
Drew said, just read ENIAC Crazy Good, and then James said, Dan, you know Bad Idea is over.
Bad Ideas, yeah, it's over. But I have a bunch of stuff still coming out, so I guess you had to define, depending on your definition of over. But yeah, ENIAC, that's one of those ideas that it was on my idea list for a while, and I thought I'd never get to it, just because there's too much stuff to do. And then with Bad Idea, it's been great because I have a big to-do list, and I've been able to go through that, and with their help, line up great artists, Doug Braithwaite and Luis La Rosa, and getting help on that end, sort of coordinating all that. It's been great because I've been able to get more ideas out there.
Jerry said, or asked, how is making Crimson Flower with Matt Lesniewski? He's easily one of the best artists working today.
Yeah, I think Crimson Flower, he didn't Matt is a star in the making. Like, I was so happy to meet him now when he's not as famous as I think he's gonna be. You know, I think he's one of those talents that comes out of nowhere and it's like fully formed, and I think he just needs more attention. So yeah, he's amazing. I totally agree with you. He's such a unique talent. You know, there's nobody like him. You know, and yeah, we're trying to work on another thing too. We've been kicking ideas back and forth, and so he sent me like a writing prompt or something that we're talking about now. So hopefully we'll be doing something in this next year as well together. But, yeah, he's great. I'm glad you like him. There's another enemy line.
Spillville Draws wants to know if we can get more information on Megalith.
Megalith. Yeah, Luis LaRosa. It's getting there. It's I don't know how much is done. I've written the whole thing, and he's working on the art, and I'm not sure of the timing of that, when it's going to be done. But it's happening, and it looks amazing, because it's Luis LaRosa, so it looks crazy good. But yeah, hopefully this year, you know, it's just, Luis is great, but he puts so much into every page that you just gotta give him a little more time, so it'll be worth the wait.
James asks, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee. So this is my third one for today, which seems like a lot, but it's not. It's two shots of espresso. It's just an Americano. So it's 6 shots. So if you got a venti Starbucks Americano, that has 6 shots, right? Is that right?
I think 4 shots.
4 shots? Okay, so this might be a lot. but it's okay. I'm not done with this one yet.
Drew asks, you ever see yourself revisiting ENIAC New Arc?
Yeah, when I finished ENIAC, I turned in an outline for 2 more books with like 2 sequels, completely different. You know, so I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, we can get to it. But yeah, I don't. Usually, when I finish a story, it's done. You know, and with that one, I was like, well, it's done, but I was like, what if we did this? I kept getting some more ideas of fun ways to continue it, to sort of explore what happens to ENIAC. Yeah, sorry, I have to be vague on a lot of this because a lot of it's happening and I just had to wait for it to get announced, which is always sucks to not be able to talk about stuff. But and that's my least favorite tweets are the ones where it's like, oh, something exciting happened and I can't tell you what it is. It's like, I hate those. So I try not to do that, but if you're asking me about it, I have to be vague sometimes.
Dan said, haha, over, in quotes, referring to bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
And Spillville Draws says, I'm saving my pin just in case.
Yeah, save your pins. Also, thank you so much, everybody that lines up and then gets there early and does all that. I'm so impressed. Like I'm too old for that, but it's exciting. I'm glad people are excited about it, and you guys are going the extra mile. And then honestly, just spreading the word on the books means a lot.
Dan asked, can you speak on a bad idea B-side you wrote called Mind Games with Travel Foreman? Seems there's a bigger story to be told.
Yeah, Mind Games. Boy, that's one I don't know. That was an idea I'd had floating around for a while too, but I don't know what to say. Yeah, there's definitely more to it, but it's also, to me, it's like a good EC story where it can stand alone. But yeah, I just like the idea of these humans being sort of expendable, used as a resource to get resources. And then it was kind of inspired by Minecraft. I used to go back and read that story again and think about Minecraft. But I used to play Minecraft a ton with my daughter. What's great about that game is like it's such a blank slate. Like there's really no story. At least, and now they're spinning it off in all kinds of things, but there's no story. So I like the idea of sort of weaving a story out of nothing from that game.
James said ENIAC was the first thing I read by you, Matt, and wow, all of that in 4 issues, amazing.
Thanks so much. All credit to Doug Braithwaite and then Warren too, my editor on that book. He keeps me on my toes, keeps me from being lazy, and we worked really hard on it. And so a lot of credit to him too for just pushing me to like make it as tight as it was. And it's great, like the structure of that story and then the way we told it is like not normal. It's hard to tell a story that the main character is basically artificial intelligence. You know what I mean? And like how do you make that visually interesting? And so Doug really played a big role in that. And yeah, credit to everybody. But yeah, it was fun. If you look at the structure of that story, it's like issue 1 is like origin story for AI, and then kind of an adventure with the 2 main characters, and at the end, sort of crazy Isaac Asimov, or Arthur C. Clarke sort of an ending to it. So.
Do you have any new games, shows, or comics you've been enjoying recently?
Yeah, man, I put all the stuff I'm reading, I put on a shelf over there so I can remember what I've read. Yeah, you know what I read? Hardcase Prime, the publisher, has been publishing reprints of Mystery, Max Allan Collins, Terry Beatty comic from the 80s. And so I read that this week and I was like, it was still so good. I was so excited that it kind of held up. And it sort of reads like 1980s, like Dick Tracy, like nice little, like edgy little crime stories and everything. Anyway, so it's comics, I would suggest that. That was great. And if you've never read it, it's good. It's just like straight up crime comics. Kind of what Brubaker's doing now, but this is in the 80s. And Terry Beatty's art kind of reminds me of Chester Gould, like Dick Tracy style art, which I really dig. There's another. So that's comics. Games. We've been playing a lot of The Lost. I think it's The Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's like sort of a little adventure game. Been playing that a lot. We've been playing it in person, and then been playing with a couple friends, and then playing it on Board Game Arena. So they added it to there, so I can play it with some friends out of town. That's as far as board games go. I just got a new board game by the guy that designed Blitzkrieg, which is like a 2-player World War II game. You fight all of World War II in like 20 minutes. So he did like a ancient Rome one too that I just got in the mail. I haven't played yet. I'm excited to play that. What was the question? Comics, games, movies,
Shows.
or TV? Oh, Cobra Kai. We just finished season 3 of Cobra Kai, which I didn't think. I don't know, but I loved Karate Kid when I was a kid, and so this show sort of it's blatantly hitting sort of that nostalgia button, which I normally don't like, but I guess I'm just in the mood for. So it's been kind of fun. I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely entertaining, which I guess that is good. And Boba Fett. I forgot Boba Fett. I want to do Boba Fett.
On that topic, Bill Crabtree asked if that's the Boba Fett Adidas jacket.
It is the Boba Fett Adidas jacket. I wore it special for today. My friend of mine texted me the link last week. He's like, "Have you seen this?" And then and he sent me the link, and then I ordered it before I even texted him back. So I texted him afterwards. I was like, I ordered that so fast. So yeah, I'm a huge Boba Fett fan. Just when I was a kid, and the reason was, like, everybody has all these theories about Boba Fett and like why he's cool or whatever it is, but for me, it wasn't the movies, it was the toys. So he had the toy with the rocket pack thing that shot, which I didn't get that one, but then there was also the 12-inch toys that were the big ones, and then I had a bunch of those. But Boba Fett was the only one where his arms and legs bent at the elbows and knees. And that extra articulation made him just so much cooler than all the other ones. So it was actually that toy that made me a fan of Boba Fett.
Bill called you a nerd.
I am totally a nerd. He knows that. Bill. That's no fair.
Drew asked, how does the process of writing a book with not much dialogue, like Refused, compared to standard type comics?
It's interesting. It almost is a different muscle, because everything has to be told visually, so you're describing everything. It's not less writing. It's actually more writing, but it's more writing for less words on the page, which was interesting. But with Marguerite, I actually wrote a whole story for her, with her in mind. That was sort of like a futuristic crime story, like sci-fi crime story, and had a lot of action in it, and like typical like crime violence and stuff. And when she read it, she's like, she was coming off a bunch of action stuff and didn't want to do anything with violence or in it, and but I really wanted to do something with her. So it's like, well, okay, I'll use that as the writing prompt, and I'll write a story that doesn't have any violence in it, which is, I can't remember the last time I did a book like that. I think Free Story might have been the only book I've done that didn't have any sort of violence in it. Anyway, so I used that as the writing prompt and came up with that story, with no violence. All the action is just more like adventure and exploration, and it was super fun and kind of a challenge to write something that was had stakes and had tension in it and everything, but didn't have any violence. So it was fun. It was a good lesson in how to write.
John said, I agree, ENIAC was awesome. I really enjoyed the premise. One aspect of Matt's writing I really like is how he weaves historical events into his stories, makes them grounded in reality.
Yeah, I love history. Like, I think I didn't have I had one really good history teacher in high school who just made like the 1960s come alive. It was just American history. And so I think from then on, I was obsessed with history and like learning about like the real story behind things, not just like dates and wars and everything, but like stories, people's stories. And so everything I've done since then has been sort of grounded in some kind of history, because I like reading about it. I like learning about it. And like a lot of my stuff happened. My early books were World War II, because World War II was like such a interesting period in time where so many crazy things were happening all over the world. So there's armchair travel, which I like, visiting different parts of the world, learning about that, but also like the crazy stories of what people went through during that time. Sort of was my jumping off point for like history and learning about it, and yeah, so to this day I'm always listening to podcasts about history, watching documentaries, reading books. I'm working on a book about Hawaii right now, so I'm doing a bunch of research about Hawaii, which is fun.
Someone said ENIAC has by far the most badass female leads ever.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, they're tougher. They probably are tougher than anybody that I've written. Yeah, it was super fun to write them, you know, and it's just fun to have characters like that can't be beat, you know, but then are also a little bit vulnerable, and then writing their dialogue was always really fun. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I'd love to do more stories with them.
John asks, any new projects for Dark Horse? Your case was certainly an interesting read.
Yeah, for sure. I'm doing a bunch of books. I have 4 or 5 more books scheduled with Dark Horse this year. I don't know if they're all going to come out in 2022, but I definitely have. And again, that's the stuff I can't really talk about till they announce it. But I have one book that I'm drawing that's half done, and Charlene's painting it. And then I have 3 more that I'm writing, and I'm working on a book with Wilfredo, one with Tyler, and then another one with David Rubin is in the works too. So yeah, a bunch of stuff coming out, and then we should be announcing that like February. We'll start announcing those.
John said, my daughter and I have been playing Fireball Island recently.
Yeah, Fireball Island. Oh my gosh, we I set that up. I did the Kickstarter, and then I bought everything. So we set it up one night, and then played with my daughter and her friend. It was so fun. There were marbles all over the place. But yeah, that was a good one. I just love the design of that game. Like, it looks so cool. All the pieces are so neat, and yeah.
John asks, what's your favorite movie director?
Favorite director is probably Wong Kar-wai. I just I got the Criterion box set, and I haven't seen all of his movies, which is so exciting to love a director so much and have movies you haven't seen yet. So I'm going through them in chronological order. I can't remember the first one, but I just watched Days of Being Wild this week, and then next is Chungking Express, which I've seen both of those. And then there's one after that, I can't remember. But anyway, the box set is great, and he's great, and yeah, so he's probably my favorite director. If you don't, that's not really a fair question though, because there's David Lynch, and there's, and I don't know. But it's interesting because my favorite director may not be the director of my favorite movie, which keeps changing every year, but I think like Apocalypse Now is one of those movies that every year I like more and more. I watch it once a year. I don't know if it's my favorite movie, but it's one of those movies where you can just watch over and over again, get something out of.
Taylor Talks Comics asks, what is one of your favorite spy comics?
Spy comics. Boy, I'm trying to think of spy comics. Give me some prompts for spy comics. I'm trying to think of what ones I've read.
Your own spy comics?
Yeah, no, I think if anything, yeah, I don't know about comics. Like, my favorite spy books are John Le Carré. Like, his stuff is great. I really love. Oh my God, what's his name? He wrote Power and the Glory. He wrote what's that guy?
Greene?
Graham Greene. Yeah, dang, Graham Greene is one of my. He wrote some really good ones. The Quiet American is really good. And like technically those are spy novels, but my favorite are the ones where spies are in it, but it's not about spies really. It's about history or the character. Yeah, comics is a tough one because there's not a lot of spy comics, are there?
Does Spy Superb take place in the Super Spy canon?
Yes, that's a spoiler. Yeah, and then all credit to Charlene. She came up with the title. I was like, I need a title that's alliterative, like super spy, but doesn't isn't super spy, but also is kind of absurd, a little, because the book is a little bit nuttier, you know, and something slightly pretentious. And she came up with Spy Superb, and it was perfect. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my bigger idea, if I ever get to it, is to do a series of spy books that are alliterative titles. So Super Spy, Spy Superb. I have a whole list of them. They're kind of funny.
Another spy question. What's an awesome spy movie you think more people should watch that not enough people have heard of?
You haven't heard of. I think The Conversation is really good. It's Francis Ford Coppola. Just because of the sound design and the whatever, I think that movie's great. It's good. Spy movies that people haven't heard of. That's interesting. But yeah, The Conversation. Maybe people haven't heard of that one. It's older. It's 1970s, slower paced, so people probably won't gravitate towards it. But I love the pace of that, and it's kind of good.
This is a complicated question. Dan asks, how do you envision or prefer your comics to be read? Do you hope people get immersed in the world, or do you prefer they slow down and really appreciate the art and writing?
That's an interesting question, because when I'm reading a comic, I want to, like, for me the ideal comic book is something like Straight Bullets. And I'm a huge fan of Dave Lapham, because what he does is like the first half of Straight Bullets, which I read over the summer again, the first half of it's just a 6-panel grid the whole time, and then the second half he goes to 8-panel, or the other way around. It's either 8-panel grid and then 6-panel. But what's great is, like, he's not doing anything fancy with the layouts. It's just panel, 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 and it creates this cool rhythm where when you're reading it, you're pulled into the story. So you're not looking at the panel layouts, you're pulled into the story and the characters, and you're reading it. And it's the most immersive. So, ideally, that's the experience I would love to have, you know, and I don't know if it's the one I always go for, but it's the one I enjoy when I'm reading comics the most. So yeah, I would say that. I'd say hopefully the art and the words sort of melt away, and you're just in the story. That's the best to me, you know. And what's interesting, there's so many artists who I'm fans of, and I love their art, but their art is so good, it takes me out of the story, because I'm just looking at the art. And so, like, if anything, I'm trying to do a balance where the art is good enough to get you in, but not so good that you're distracted by it. It's sort of a tricky balance, you know. And it's funny, like, some reviews of my art are like all over the place. People love it, and some people hate it. And it's like, well, I get the hate because I'm not trying to do something where it stands on its own. Like, the art isn't there just to be looked at. The art is there to tell the story. So, anyway.
James asks if you've checked out Peacemaker.
Oh, the TV show. No, it's on my list. Man, there's so much TV. I don't have time, but it is on my list. I watched the trailer. It looks funny. I enjoyed the movie. So yeah, it's on my list. But we burned Cobra Kai this week, so that's taken up all of our TV time. And then that and Boba Fett.
Drew said Miller has a bunch of spy stuff, and Bill Crabtree recommended Queen and Country as a spy comic.
Oh yeah, Queen and Country. I forgot about that, but yeah, Brian Hurt worked on that for a while. Yeah, those are good. What was the other one? Queen and Country. What was the other one?
Miller has a bunch of spy
Frank
stuff.
Miller.
Probably.
What spy stuff do you do? What am I forgetting? Oh, Mark Miller.
I don't know. Miller with an A.
Yeah. Yeah, what did he do? So he did like, remind me what they are. But they did the movies, The Kingsman, right? Is that the ones?
Could be.
Yeah, those are fun.
Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are fun. But yeah, they don't, none of those scratch the itch of what I want out of spy stuff, which is more John Le Carre style, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why I do spy stuff so much, is like, I'm trying to do the thing that I haven't seen done, that I want to see, which is basically what all my comics end up being. Is just trying to fill a hole that I feel like exists.
Which of the hero trade stories was your favorite, and which of these stories is your... Okay, just answer that. Which of the hero trade stories was your favorite?
My favorite? Boy, that's tough. They all make me kind of laugh for different reasons. You know, the very first one is probably my favorite because that was such a weird, like the birth of that idea came from me hanging out with Warren, the editor, after Comics Pro, and we were just sitting at the bar eating, and he's like, I got an idea for you. I was like, what is it? He's like, the superhero dead in a trunk. I was like, okay. I was like, I got an idea for you. I was like, what if he cuts them up in pieces and sells the pieces? And so like that idea was like such a fun way to like come up with an idea, like a collaboration. And then that was all there was to it. And then when I was done writing it, or as I was writing it, I realized, I was like, oh, there's something deeper to it. And I hate spoiling it. And I told Warren, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it should be obvious when you read a few of them in a row. But there's a metaphor to every one of those stories that I realized while I was writing it. I was like, oh, this is what this is about. Which usually I don't get that idea until I'm done with it. And then I'm like, oh, that's what it's about. Well, this one was like halfway through, I was writing the dialogue. I was like, oh, this is about what it's about. And then being aware of what the metaphor is with those stories made every story after that 10 times more fun. Because then it was just like doing different takes on that metaphor, like the one where the little guy's in the suitcase. Well, I'm spoiling endings here, but out of context, it won't make sense. Where he's in the suitcase and has to break out the suitcase. There's very on the nose metaphors for every one of those stories that I told Warren when we're done with all the hero trade stuff. I want to write like an essay that sort of diagrams what all of those are and what it means. Which I never want to do except that particular idea just sort of fell together.
Related to hero trade, which of those stories is your clearest commentary on your feelings of the superhero genre?
Okay, that's the metaphor. Yeah, they all are. They're different parts of it. So, the first one is basically we'll just get into it. The first one is is basically like how the industry takes old characters and just uses them over and over again and tries to milk them for all they're worth, you know. And then if you read the suitcase, the one where the guy's in the briefcase trying to escape, and the guy trying to open the suitcase, that's basically people trying to break into the comics industry, and then people miserable inside it, trying to get out. What's another one? Trying to think of the other. You have to remind me of the other ones now. I can't remember what they are. But yeah, so every one of them is a different aspect of the comic book industry, not just superheroes, but just like working in comics, and it's so those are stories to me where I couldn't have written those 20 years ago. You know, it has to be 20 years of working in comics to sort of have like distance from the industry, but also experience within it to sort of figure out what it's about.
Taylor Talks Comics asks, what are some of the best comics you read last year?
my shelf is so far away I can't see it. I'm gonna go. Hold on. I'll be right back. Oh, this isn't a faux pas to leave in the middle. I don't even know what's in here, but I've been putting the stuff I read in a stack. So Mystery, I talked about that one. That's good. Ultra Mega, that was fun. I think everybody has heard of that one. I got a couple mini comics in here. This is really cool. Faster. Jesse Lonergan, I think that's his name. Anyway, if you can find that, Ad House Books was selling those at Heroes this year. Anyway, this stuff is really great. This is great. We'll talk about that later. But here it is. Wilfredo's and Robin Diddy's Superman 78. Awesome. Kent State, really good book. So that's kind of the weird cross section of stuff I've been reading this year. A little bit of everything.
What impact do you think Bad Idea had on the future of comics?
It's so hard to tell, and it's too soon to tell, I think, because I think like we're doing things weirdly independent of how other comics have been done for so long, and sort of just trying to work directly with readers and retailers. So I don't know, I hope that the hope is that there is an impact, that we find a new model or way of doing things that will be better for creators, better for publishers, better for readers. So yeah, you hope we're making a positive impact. We're at least trying something new, like I think the older I get too, the more I'm like, I just get tired of doing things the same way. And just because that's how we've done it, we just keep doing it that way. The books I'm doing with Dark Horse this year, I'm just going to be designing all of them, and they're not going to be in regular formats because I'm just tired of writing in a 22-page monthly comic format, and tired of seeing books come out that way. So just trying to rethink everything, or question how we do everything and why we're doing it that way. Are we doing it that way because it makes sense? Or are we doing it that way because it makes money sense? Or are we doing it that way because it's how we've always done it? Those are just the questions I'm asking with my books, and then with Bad Idea, it's the same thing. We're just trying to figure out a different way. If anything, just for the fun of it.
Dan said we need an annotated version of Hero Trade, and then later someone said we might get an annotated Hero Trade copy, based on what you were saying, I think, about the diagram.
Yeah.
With Hero Trade.
Yeah, with Hero Trade, yeah, I could do a little essay on every story and talk about it. It's trying to remember what the other ones were now. I know there's the briefcase one, there's the one where he's in the trunk, there's the one where, the Bloody Mess, that's the one where the guy's wife is really a superhero. Yeah, that one's dark. Yeah, that one, the Bloody Mess is a metaphor for creator-owned versus independent comics, and as a creator, the danger of, or dedicating your life to work that you don't own versus owning it, or something like that. You can also just read those as straight up dark superhero books. I hate to put so much meaning on them.
John asked to ask an unrelated comics question. What is your favorite genre of music? Maybe favorite musicians as well?
I guess my Spotify they send you the Spotify thing for the year. What you listen to is so weird and all over the place. But I'd say like I go between rock and roll, like 2 and 3 person bands, like Black Keys or White Stripes, Jack Black. I go from that, or who's another band I like? All Them Witches is pretty good. Black Angels is good. So I go from that, and then to like the most listened to stuff, which is this like 1960s jazz, bebop, you know, Dizzy Gillespie and all those guys, which is sort of like whatever. It's probably a 50-50 balance between both of those.
Do you have any plans to return to the Patreon?
Patreon, yeah, we talked about doing it, and I may do it. I feel, I don't know. I have 2 thoughts. One is I don't want to. I feel weird asking for money, so I don't like doing it. And the other part is like it's a lot of extra work to make it worth it. And so I want to do that. I don't know when I would do it again, because there's a point where it's like I could do that and she'll process an extra stuff or do an extra thing, or I could actually just work on another book. And at the end of the day, if I'm not writing and or drawing and stuff, that's all I want to do. So if there's a way for me to do both, I'll try to do it, but I don't know.
How do the sketches usually look that come with the Berserker singles on your website, since they're not on the issues themselves?
Yeah, we have a postcard, isn't that how we do it?
Sketch card.
Yeah, I have like a postcard and I do a sketch. Oh no, it's like a 4x6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do like a 4x6 card with an ink drawing, kind of like what I'm doing now. But I just do it as a separate piece, which I think is cooler because then the art's not stuck in the book. You can do whatever, use it as a bookmark.
Who is a modern day writer or creator you admire / learn from the most besides Warren?
Gosh, as far as I would say, like if I look to comics for inspiration, I don't know that I look for comics for that anymore, because working in it, like I'm trying to like find a path or make a path, so I don't look in comics for inspiration as much. I'm always looking outside of it. To try to bring something new into it. But I don't know, if you're asking me who my favorite creators are, like Darwin Cook was always such an inspiration. Like I don't know that I just like his economy of line and storytelling. And so I would say him maybe. But yeah, right now I've been looking at I've been doing research on this Fluxus art movement in the 60s. It sort of came out of Dada and the Surrealists of the 40s and 50s. And so I'm sort of more inspired by that as a way of approaching comics in a way that isn't traditional comics. You know, they sort of attacked art and did all this crazy weird art, which I like the look of. Like they'll fill a fishing tackle box full of weird stuff, you know, little pieces of type and different objects and everything, and then that's the art. And while I don't there's something I like about it visually, but also it's missing narrative. So I'm trying to figure out a way to take that idea of sort of a strange format, but then marry it with narrative and story. So there's actually something to it rather than just open to interpretation. So if anything, I think I'm just looking to that. Look up Google Fluxus art movement, and just do an image search for that, and you can kind of see where I'm trying to go with comics.
Kelly said, "Thanks so much for doing this. I just ordered a copy for my husband and I really appreciate it."
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's funny, I was just talking about how maybe we could do this instead of comic book conventions. but conventions are fun too, in their own way. But this is easier on me, so I enjoy it, and it's nice to have a little bit of interaction, because you kind of work in a vacuum when you're in comics.
Someone asked if you listen to instrumental music. If so, who besides jazz?
Oh, yeah, who's Krunga Band's pretty good. They're pretty chill, laid back. Krunga Band and then the Olympians.
Are they instrumental?
I think so. Krunga Band isn't it?
Well, instrumental means no words, right?
Yeah. So
Like lo-fi would be one.
yeah, Krunga Band and the Olympians. I don't know if they have words or not. Here's the thing. Here's my secret. I don't listen to words. so music doesn't. Words or no words, it doesn't matter. Like I can listen to anything when I'm writing. The words just become sounds to me. So I don't. Sometimes I'll like a song and then Charlene will be like, "It's like, oh, you like that? It's really about that song's about like abuse or something." I was like, "Oh, well, now you ruined it." So yeah, I don't. Which is odd as a writer. I get not. I'm only getting half of what music has to offer if you don't listen to words. But also I feel like I don't consume music as much as I use it, and I basically use it to sort of like write, you know. So like the emotions and whatever that music brings up in you, whatever I sort of try to channel that into writing. But it's just the sounds. I don't need the words to do that, so I don't really use the words.
Similar to what you're saying, but do you listen to music when you write or draw?
Yeah, if I'm writing, I listen to music, and if I'm drawing, if I'm penciling, I listen to music, and when I'm inking and color painting, if I'm painting, I listen to books, audiobooks, because that part is so laborious and boring to me that music doesn't do it. I need information.
Someone said Krungband is awesome. And then Dan said you put a lot of Easter eggs in your comics that lends to multiple rereads. Is there anything you've put out there that you're dying for someone to notice?
Yes. That's what I can't tell you. Yeah, no, there's always something. I mean, there's so many things in my management where I just it's like no one's ever gonna get, but that's okay. I've thought about doing like a absolute edition of my management, like a big one, and then it just has like footnotes for every single thing. But then I don't know if that ruins it or not. I think it might ruin it.
Maybe if you did like a book where you could like, you know those kid books where you flip it down?
Yeah.
So you could, like, it's hidden.
Yeah.
But you could open it to see if you want them.
Yeah, that's true. But then everyone's gonna. I don't know. Explaining it sometimes takes the fun out of it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not showing the sketches. They're all different, so I don't know what. I'm not even sure.
Any watercolor tips for beginners?
Yeah, don't try to control it. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, I remember teaching our daughter. We would go to the coffee shop and have a lesson. And we would do our drawing, and then I would show her the step by step. But the key, trick with watercolor is you don't control it. Like the not controlling it is what makes it cool. So you just kind of splash the water on there, you know, or put water on there and then add the paint, or you know, mess around with it. Let it sort of. You're guiding it. You're not controlling it. And I think that's the key to watercolor. And especially when you're younger, like teaching our daughter, and even me, like in high school, you want to be real tight and realistic and everything, and then as you get older, you sort of realize that a lot of the beauty is the not controlling it. But that goes with all art, really.
Someone said, please do the absolute with or without secret reveals.
Hmm.
Dan said, don't die with secrets, Matt. And then Dan also said, speaking of Fluxus, was the Invisible Bad Idea comic your idea? Sounded very Kintian.
No, it's not, but that's why I get along with that idea so well. It's like the ideas, even the ideas that aren't mine, like, sound like mine sometimes. And no, it's great. I was thinking about that. If it was my idea, it would be an invisible comic, but with a way to actually read it with lemon juice.
No active questions right now,
Alright.
but we'll end in probably 5 minutes.
Alright, that's good. Well, I didn't get through all these books, but I will get through them. If I didn't sketch yours today, I'll be sketching it all weekend. You can see this is my weekend plan right here.
Did you want to say anything about that one comic?
Which comic?
It was like a
Oh.
holding.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, that was the one, it wasn't a reading one. Rico, I got these at Heroes this week. Rico Renzi, he's an amazing artist, colorist. He did 2 things. He did a great Twin Peaks sketch, mini zine. That's great, I picked up. But then he also did this, which is giant size. It's nothing but the ads from like 80s Marvel comics. So you just scan in all these great ads, like that great Bill Sienkiewicz. Those 2 ads, which are great. So I just remember you would see these every month, and I love that you just put them all together in one little mini comic. All these ads you kind of remember but forgot about. Anyway, just a great idea for a little mini, but nothing to read there, just cool to look at. I think he probably has these on his website too if you go there. Maybe we can put links in there somehow.
Someone said I almost bought one of those invisible comics, but in email we just ended up talking about how I know Ramon 5 or V.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know about buying one of those. But there's probably a good reason to, or not to.
Someone asked, did you do any further Hamilton pages that weren't posted? My wife and I love those.
No, I did that, and I did that as like a proof of concept to show what I would do, and then it got canceled, so I didn't end up doing it at all. But yeah, no, that would have probably been the hardest book I'd ever done, because incorporating all of the lyrics, which I didn't want to edit any lyrics out, so like incorporating all that into the art is so hard. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen. I feel like I'd still be working on it. Yeah, also, anybody that, if there's books that I need to read that came out this year that I didn't read, please, in the comments, tell me what to read. I'm always looking for new stuff. I end up working so much I don't keep up with what's out and not going to conventions. I'm not seeing everything that everybody's doing. So yeah, if you have suggestions for me that you think I'd like, let me know what it is so I can check it out.
Someone said, I love your work, Matt. I'm collecting all your indie work right now. Please keep it up and keep being who you are.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Someone suggested you read Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's Nightwing.
Nightwing from like Batman Nightwing, DC. I'll look for it, if that's what it is. Either way, I'll look for it, but.
And then also Dzarsky and Jacob Phillips Newburn.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one, I just haven't had a chance. But yeah, Chip's funny. And then, yeah, what else? Yeah, keep the recommendations coming. Also, not just comics, books too. If there's any books or movies I need to watch. TV shows, I don't need any recommendations because there's so much out there. I'll never catch up. But also recommend that if there's something I need to see.
Good stuff to read. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance and Dead Dog's Bite.
Oh, okay, good. I haven't heard of either one of those. Well, the first one I've heard of, but I don't know where.
Alright, I think we
Alright,
can-
is that it? Alright, this is my last sketch for now. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the questions. And if you have any more recommendations, just put them in the comments below. Thank you. See you guys later.